can't see me. Let's go.
What up, y'all? You can't see me here today, back again. Jumping into sports today, the entertainment. The NBA playoffs are taking place right now. This is one of the best NBA playoffs we have seen in quite a few years, man. The beginning of the season was looking like the same two teams were going to be there, and there was going to be no questioning that. But as the season developed and as we got closer to the end, we saw that there was much more parity in the NBA than we thought. And a lot of the young up-and-coming teams have stars that really have all-star level talent that we didn't recognize. So what I'm going to do in this video is give y'all my predictions. I'm gonna give you the predictions. I'm gonna make that quick for y'all. Just want to get to the beginning part of the video, and then we'll go a little more in depth and we'll talk about why. So y'all leave me comments, let me know who you think gonna win, and I'm going round by round, showing you who's gonna lose. I got the overall prediction. I still got Golden State winning, but we gonna go through round by round who gonna win real quick, all right? And I want your feedback. I want your comments. Let me know who you think is gonna win, all right? So what prompted this is, after two games were played, and I'm gonna put this up on the screen, all right? I did a sheet with one of my coworkers. He wanted to basically, do a little friendly wager. So we both filled out a sheet. Only 2 games have been played, all right? Well, 3 for Portland and 3 for the Miami-Philly series. But beyond that, we try to predict everything. So everything on this sheet has to be exact, all right? So I said I can put the sheet up here if it's not up already. So we're gonna look at each game, the upsets, what may affect things, and I said I'm gonna talk about why. But what I'm gonna do real quick is just go through who I think gonna win, period. And then I'll go back and we'll talk about who and why, all right? So once again, start the finals. Golden State is gonna beat Philly. I got Golden State and Philly in the finals this year. LeBron will not make it, all right? And I also got a prediction on where LeBron's gonna go. But I'm gonna touch on that with the Heat. Now I'm gonna get to that early, so just stick with the video, all right? That'll be one of the first games that we talk about, all right? But Golden State, Philly in the finals. Golden State will beat Philly in 4 games. They'll get 1 because they are a good team, young, up and coming, but they won't have enough for Golden State, all right? In the West, before the finals, Golden State will be playing Utah, all right? Utah is going to make it to the conference finals this year. Donovan Mitchell is just too much. That man is a great player. He is a Hall of Famer to be if he stays healthy, all right? So, yeah, he's going to take out the Houston Rockets. Yeah, Utah will beat the Houston Rockets in this next round, all right? We know Houston going to take out Minnesota, and Utah is going to beat the OKC Thunder. I think right now they're up 2-1, but when I made this, they were only 1-1. They was tied, all right? On the other side, we know at this point, New Orleans finished off Portland, all right? Where everybody pretty much knew that that's how the series was going to go. Nobody knew they was going to get swept. But, we knew that was happening. And then Golden State, San Antonio. San Antonio pulled out a game today, but they're ultimately going to lose, all right? So back in the East, how Philly gets there, they're going to have to play Indiana in the conference finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. So LeBron will not even make it to the Eastern. LeBron is not going to make it out the first round, all right? Toronto and Indiana are going to play. Toronto's going to finish off Washington, and Indiana will finish off Cleveland. When I made this, they were tied 1-1. But at this point, they're up 2-1. So they did win that game. And it was the night we made the sheet because I wanted to do it before that game got played. And Indiana pulled out. Oladipo is beasting right now. Beasting and feasting. LeBron has just caused too much dissension within his team. And people, of course, they want to give him an excuse. The media's trying to make excuses for him. He tries to make excuses for himself. But ultimately, he is the main unchanging factor as to why the Cavs win and or lose. He can't get all the credit for winning and not get all the credit for losing because they built that system around him. They gave him everything he wanted, every player he wanted. The veterans saw that they couldn't play with him because nobody really wants to play with LeBron except aging veterans or young guys who worship him. But that's another story. That's another video because I go into that for a minute. But just to say, they're going to lose and it is LeBron's fault. All right. On the other side, Philly and Boston in the second round. Boston will beat Milwaukee. Philly will beat Miami. All right. So that's how we're going to get to the NBA Finals. All right. So let me go back to this Toronto-Washington series. Obviously, Toronto in the East, they're a great team, and they're looking at the best that they've ever looked in the playoffs because the regular season is one thing and the playoffs is another animal, all right? And some people do not show up in the playoffs. DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry are two of those people. So in pro sports, I mean, your mental is everything. All of these guys are athletes, but it's who works hardest, who can take getting a big contract to keep playing, who can take the crowd, who can take the media, all right? All guys aren't built for that, even though they're great athletes. They did great in high school and in college. That's what will be the downfall. Now, John Wall and Bradley Beal are worse, all right? And they have no chemistry. John Wall's probably going to get traded this year at the end of the season. But Toronto will have enough to beat Washington, as I said. But in the Toronto-Indiana series, Toronto's mental fragility is going to cause them to lose to the Indiana Pacers. That's my prediction. Oladipo is too focused. He's too zoned in. And I think that even though he and Russell Westbrook couldn't coexist in OKC, Oladipo learned from Russell Westbrook. He learned how to play with that eye of the tiger, how to play with a vengeance. You know what I mean? Go for that kill. Have that dog like Kobe. You know, if nothing else, Kobe may not be as good as Michael Jordan, but he's one of those people who had that killer instinct. And Oladipo has gotten that killer instinct. He learned and developed it even further playing under Russell Westbrook. So, and plus he has great people helping him out. Bogdanovic is balling. I mean, he's been going off. He's been balling. So there'll be enough to take out the Raptors. Philly is just a team this year. I mean, I honestly feel like Philly has a chance to win the championship, especially if somebody does take out Golden State. Philadelphia is too much this year. I mean, Ben Simmons is basically like a younger LeBron with better passing skills than LeBron had then. And Joel Embiid, man, he is he's basically the equivalent of the throwback big man back in the day when big men were still dominating. But he is a new age big man where he can shoot, he can pop that three. His game is unlimited. He is like an Hakeem Olajuwon of this day. If you want to go back and see arguably one of the greatest centers ever, go back and look at Hakeem Olajuwon. Look at the moves he had. Kobe studied Hakeem Olajuwon to get his skills and his post game and all that up and under he used to do out the post, okay? Hakeem is one of the greatest legendary Hall of Fame players, and Joel Embiid is reminiscent of him, but in this new age. And you put that with Ben Simmons and the way that they are playing and they have good coaching, yo, they're going to run the Eastern Conference Finals, especially as LeBron weakens. So, Eastern Conference Finals, Indiana versus Philadelphia. Once again, although I think Oladipo is a beast, I think he still doesn't have enough help to beat Philly. Philly is going to handle them. I'm going to say that that's probably going to be like a 6-game series. Indiana will get 2 at home, but Philly is basically going to get their home games. They'll probably steal one and maybe end it in Philly. You know what I mean? Like, Indiana just doesn't have enough for the Philadelphia 76ers that we see right now. And as we head back to the West, as I said, it will be Houston, Utah in the second round. Dominant players in the regular season, James Harden and Chris Paul. Chris Paul, Hall of Famer. James Harden at this point is cementing his legacy as a Hall of Famer. But Chris Paul has temper issues. You can throw him off easily if you can get under his skin. We've seen him throw the ball at people. We've seen him get teched up. And we've seen his game ultimately take a hit because of that. And as we know, James Harden flamed out last year. Every year in the playoffs, he'll have a dominant season, a MVP caliber season. He'll get the MVP this year. But then in the playoffs, he flames off. So the referendum is on James Harden this year and what happens to him and if he flames out in the playoffs again. But as we know, both of them have a tendency to disappear. And part of the reason I felt like they were going to lose is because Minnesota, they barely beat Minnesota in game 1. They have to both still play well to beat the Utah Jazz in the next round or to beat Golden State in the conference finals. If James Harden doesn't show up in Utah the way he did against Minnesota, that's going to be a loss. If it happens with Chris Paul, that's going to be a loss. Look for the disappearance of James Harden and Chris Paul to affect them in the playoffs, all right? So New Orleans and Golden State. Now, I actually feel like New Orleans has a chance to beat Golden State. Why? If Steph Curry is still out, they're going to have to bring him back early. If Steph Curry was playing, nobody really has a chance. Steph Curry is top 3 in the NBA. He is better and a better leader than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is, of course, 7 foot, but as we know, Steph Curry, 2-time MVP. He won before Kevin Durant ever got there. Won championships without him. Kevin Durant had Russell Westbrook, arguably the most athletic player in the NBA, and had a 3-1 lead on the Golden State, who had a 72-73 win season. And Kevin Durant flamed out. These are great players. Kevin Durant is a great player, but he needed to go to Golden State and be in that system where he didn't have to be an alpha. And you see it in their demeanor. You see it how calm they are. You see how well they keep themselves together. Whereas Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, you see how they're getting technical fouls all the time. You see how they always complaining. You remember Kevin Durant was on Twitter making fake accounts when he's $100 million NBA player, 7 feet tall. You know, you got money to do whatever you want. You go around the world and you on Twitter arguing with people making fake accounts. I mean, allegedly. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? So that's a mental weakness. Draymond Green as well. So if Draymond Green and Kevin Durant have mental breakdowns at the same time or in important games, that can affect Golden State. And then without Curry to lead them, they may not beat New Orleans, but right now I still am giving them the edge as the championships. And New Orleans inexperience and how Anthony Davis, you know, has flamed out. But although this year, very strong performances from Anthony Davis. Drew Holiday is balling. Drew Holiday with that defense in the backcourt, that makes a difference. And then them having Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo is making a tremendous difference. He is a great traditional point guard. People don't realize how smart Rajon Rondo is. He is out there like a floor general. Coaches just let him do his thing. They don't even coach him. So when you put all that together, and the art of feeding the big man is really dying out. You got big men who can do a lot, but the art of actually feeding the post properly is a dying art. Only a few point guards can still do that. Most of these combo guards aren't great at it. But Rajon Rondo still has that gift. That's why you see Anthony Davis being so much more productive than Karl Anthony Towns, because Jeff Teague can't feed him. That's another reason they're losing. You know, Karl Anthony Towns didn't step up. He should still do better than he did in this series, in his first round series, but he doesn't get fed well the way other point guards have been able to feed the post, all right? So New Orleans will ultimately lose to Golden State. They just aren't going to have enough to defeat the reigning champions. Now, Utah Golden State is going to be a great series. Once again, I'm going to give this one a 6-game series. Utah just doesn't have enough. Donovan Mitchell by himself just doesn't have enough for Golden State, especially when Steph Curry comes back. Just won't have enough. I'm sorry. That'll be a great series. Donovan is going to start solidifying his legacy and boosting his ranking into that star, you know, all-star level. But just won't have enough for Golden State. And then once again, Golden State versus Philadelphia in the finals. That might go 7 games. I mean, Philadelphia has a chance to win. I honestly feel like they can win. They have enough to beat Golden State. But I'm going to give Golden State the edge with their experience and the fact that they do have Steph Curry, arguably the best player. Top 3. I mean, LeBron, KD, Steph Curry, all top players, man. Steph Curry is one of the greatest. And you see the effect that Steph Curry has on his team. He is a leader. So, yeah, that is my prediction. Golden State, I initially said 4-1 Golden State in the beginning. I'm going to give Philly 2 games. After I talk this through and think about this a little further, I'm going to give Philly 2 games against Golden State. If they win, if Golden State loses to Philly, would I be surprised? No. I think that is very possible this year. But giving respect to the champions and still giving some respect to Philly, but ultimately giving that respect to the champions and just the force that they are and knowing that they're turning it up in the playoffs, Golden State will win the championship 4-2 over the Philadelphia 76ers, all right? So leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do this at the end. LeBron James will be returning to the Miami Heat. If you comment on this, I know you stayed to the end of the video, and I appreciate that. I salute you for staying through to the end. But leave me your comments. Let me know who you think is going to win. Let me know the sleepers, the upsets, the dark horses that you think are going to really affect the playoffs and change, you know, the dynamic. Who's going to throw off? Who may be Cleveland? Say you think they're going to make it further. You know what I'm saying? Who is going to potentially upset a Golden State or Houston? Let me know what you think. But LeBron James will end up in Miami. He's going to go back there. To me, that makes the most sense. If you want to see a video where I break that down, let me know. I'll make a short video explaining why I think LeBron will go to Miami versus some of the other stopping points that they think he's going to end up. All right? You Can't See Me, NBA playoffs, predictions, baby. You know how we do. We do a little bit of everything, man. So let me know what you think about my prediction. Let me know what you think, how you feel, and you know what you must do, all right? Make your next move your best move, all right? Peace.
You can't see me. Let's go.
It's game time and I bang mine, yo.